SVIVAH is about revolutionizing the way that women come together in community and using Jewish community to empower women as individual change makers in their own lives and in the world. We bring women into closer community with each other through 4 program areas: HerTorah, like tonight, through Jewish learning and text; HerSpirit, which are pastoral conversations and reflections on the Jewish calendar and life cycle; HerHealth in the red tent, which are conversations about our physical and mental health; and HerPower, which are opportunities to flex our empowerment muscles and do some equity-driven skill building together. We define both Jewish and women very broadly. So if you want to be with us, we want you with us and welcome. And we come together in celebration and support of women, our strengths, our unique perspectives, and our ways of impacting the world.
Founding director and the everything of SVIVAH. It's her love of other women that really creates such beautiful programming and brings women together. So thank you for everything that you do, Ariana. And thank you also to our incredible internal partners for tonight, to Emily Bell, to Dr. Liz Shane. Thank you for all the work that you've been doing. SVIVAH and her partners for tonight, to Emily Bell, to Dr. Liz Shane. Thank you for all the work that you've been doing. SVIVAH and HerTorah believe that we are better when we support one another, when we listen to each other, when we form relationships so that we can work together to form a better world. That is our message. That's what we do. So we have monthly programs where we bring women who can teach Torah and can teach about real lived experience coming together. And this is just part of what we do. We want to bring everyone together because we believe that when you come together and you listen to each other, then you can find solutions and ways forward that you can never do on your own. We are so grateful to the graduates for being here. We have so many graduates here that we couldn't even spotlight everybody. You can look for our grads. They've got the special Zoom backgrounds. Please send them a Mazel Tov message. We invited all the graduates from US-based schools from who are doing rabbinic or cantorial or Jewish education work to come together. It's not easy to get everybody together, especially in the summer. Some people are moving on to their new jobs. Some people are just on vacation. Some people just don't check their email because they need a little break. So we didn't get everybody tonight, but we got a lot of people and we're so happy that you're here. In the last hour, just the graduates came together so that they could meet each other. We also had a beautiful address from Rabbi Susan Grossman, who retired last year and passed on some of her wisdom to our new graduates. This is our first time doing this. We hope it's not the last. We hope you'll come together and help us make it even better next time. Okay, now I want to introduce our graduates. So here we go. Are we ready? Okay, we're going to have a slideshow if it works. I will remove spotlight. Okay. That's okay. I'm going to read a list of our graduates to you, which is exactly what we meant to do in the beginning, of course. Okay, here we go. We are so happy to honor tonight Rabbanit Miriam Ackerman Somer from Maharat, Rabbi Taylor, and if I mess up your name, please forgive me, Rabbi Taylor Baruchel from HUC JIR, Rabbi Cantor Elizabeth Batzara from Academy for Jewish Religion, California, Rabbi Rebecca Benoff from HUC JIR, Rabbi Megan Brumer from HUC LA, Rabbi Bria Kahana from Yeshivat Maharat, Rabbi Anna Calamaro from Hebrew Union College Rabbinic Program, Los Angeles, Rabbi Juliet Elkin Cruz from Aleph, Rabbi, oh, here we go. We got it now. Okay, Rabbi Juliet Elkin Cruz from Aleph. Rabbi Chelsea Fuchs from HUC Rabbinical. Rabbi Yonina Andrea Foster from Rabbinical Seminary International. Rabbi Lily Goldstein from HUC. Rabbanit Tamar Green Eisenstadt from Maharat. Rabbi Abigail Halpern from Hadar Advanced Kollel. Rabbi Miriam Hoffman from HUC JIR. Rabbi Jessica Jacobs from HUC Rabbinical Angelico. Rabbanit Nomi Kaltman from Maharat. Rabbi Rebecca Kaufman from HUC JIR. Rabbi Chaplain Nina King Madlam from HIRCA. Chaplain Leslie Klipstein from HIRCA Chaplaincy Program. Rabbi Rena Krautworth from Maharat. Rabbi Wendy Love Anderson from HIR. Rabbi Denny Marshall from Aleph. Rabbi Shani B. Michelson from Ziegler. Cantor Marilyn Shelby Okoshi from JTS Cantorial School and Davidson School. Rav Chazan Gabriel Pescador from Aleph. Callie Schuler from Davidson School, JTS. Rabbinic Pastor Nancy Shapiro from Aleph. Rabbi Heather Shore from HUC JIR. Rabbi Ashira Stevens from Hebrew College. Rabbi Judy Weintraub from HARCA. Rabbi Amelia Wolf from JTS. Rabbi Edie Yakudis from HUC JIR Cincinnati. Rabbi May Yeh from Reconstructionist Rabbinical College. Rabbi Kat Zavis from Aleph. Mazel tov to all of you. That's so amazing. And it's not even all the rabbis who graduated this year. And I'm going to ask you to do something that won't sound great, but will hopefully really express how we feel. Go off mute and clap for these wonderful women, please.
Woo!
Mazel tov to all of you. And we're so happy to be celebrating you tonight.
I was also ordained this year, but I was not listed.
Oh,
Me too.
Rabbi Toby Innerfield.
Wonderful. Mazel tov. From where?
From Rabbinical Seminary International.
Wonderful. And who else did I not mention?
I'm Cantor Jenna Sagan, and I went through the cantorial internship program through the Cantors Assembly. So I am now a proud member of the CA.
Wonderful. Mazel tov to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Okay. So we are so happy to have you here. And everybody wants to say Mazel tov to you. So we've got some wonderful co-sponsors who are really thrilled to give you brachot and to celebrate you. Thank you to our co-hosts, supporters of women's leadership, the Covenant Foundation, Aviv Foundation, Hadassah Foundation, Gender Equity and Hiring Project, NCJW, JWI, Jewish Women's Fund of Atlanta, Women's Rabbinic Network, Women of Reform Judaism, Illuminate, and Jewish Women's Archive. And there's so many more organizations who also celebrate you and honor you. So thank you to our co-sponsors. Now, as part of our program tonight, we are going to have brachot, blessings from some of our co-sponsors. And because we've got such a packed program tonight, I am going to do something really rude. And when you get to the end of your time, please finish in the allotted time. But if not, I will jump in with my handmade Mazel Tov sign, and that will be the sign to you to please finish your sentence and let the next person go through. Okay, so I would love to introduce first to you to invite Judith Rosenbaum from Jewish Women's Archive.
Thank you so much, and Mazel Tov to all of you. I'm Judith Rosenbaum of the Jewish Women's Archive. As I hope most of you know, JWA is a digital archive that expands and transforms the way we understand history and Jewish culture by centering Jewish women's stories and bringing a gender lens. And we believe that uncovering a more diverse and nuanced narrative helps us create a better world and inspires the history makers of the future. And that's all of you. So we welcome you into leadership and look forward to chronicling your contributions in the archive going forward. My blessing to you tonight comes from the words of Grace Paley, the great Jewish writer and activist who is one of my Rebbes. Paley's Torah embodies the wisdom that's rooted in the small moments of everyday life and the relationships of ordinary people, often women. In one of my favorite stories of hers, Ruthie and Edie, which was published in 1985, she wrote these very famous words: "Let us go forth with fear and courage and rage to save the world." And I bless you tonight, not only to embody those attributes, which we need so very desperately, but also that you have the community and support represented in her words of collectivity. Let us. May you always have your people with whom to go forth together, and we all pledge to be part of it. Mazel Tov.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Roz Garber Toledano from the Hadassah Foundation.
Thank you to SVIVAH for holding this celebration and inviting the Hadassah Foundation to co-sponsor. I am Roz Garber Toledano. The Hadassah Foundation seeks to promote lasting change by addressing the underlying obstacles that impede the full participation of women and girls in society. We support organizations in Israel and the US that advance women and girls and that promote gender equality for all people. On behalf of the Hadassah Foundation, we welcome you to this sacred work as our partners and new leaders. We applaud your efforts, enthusiasm, and dreams. May you share your wisdom, your vision, and your insight as you bring your Torah to the world. And as a mother of 3 daughters, all active leaders in the Jewish community, a rabbi, a Jewish educator, and a social worker, I wish you patience, strength, and courage. May you serve as role models, bursting with passion. May you light the way and inspire others. Our community is blessed to have you as our leaders. Kol hakavod and mazal tov.
Thank you so much, Roz and Judith. I'd like to invite our cantors, Rav Chazan Gabriel Pescador from Aleph and cantor Marilyn Selvio Koshi from JTS, to lead us in Olam Chesed Yibaneh.
Olam Chesed Yibaneh, da 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 da. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, da 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 da. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, da 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 da. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, da 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 da. I will build this world from love. Da 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 da. And you must build this world from love. Ya da da ya da da da. And if we build this world from love, ya da da ya da da, then God will build this world from love. And if we build this world from love, then God will build this world from love.
That was so beautiful. Thank you. No wonder everybody is lining up to bless all of you. I'd love to call up Jody Goldberg from the Covenant Foundation to give you a bracha.
That was absolutely beautiful. Dear SVIVAH honorees, my name is Jody Goldberg, Program Officer at the Covenant Foundation. First, I want to give a huge thank you to the SVIVAH leadership, Ariel Mortkowitz, Rabbanit Aliza Sperling, and the entire SVIVAH team for creating a sacred space for women of all identities, affiliations, and backgrounds to learn together and celebrate this momentous milestone. This celebration comes at an important moment within the Jewish calendar. As last week, we just read the final parsha of the book of Bamidbar, Numbers, and now we will begin the final book of the Torah, Devarim, Deuteronomy. This symbolic transition from the closing of one book to the opening of another represents the sacred journey that you are all embarking on as you close this chapter of formal study and embark on a first step or continued career as a Jewish professional. May your career allow you moments to be both a learner and a teacher in any setting you find yourselves in. When we complete the book of the Torah, we recite the words chazak, chazak, v'nit chazek, which can be very loosely translated to be strong, and we will strengthen one another. May the celebration serve as a reminder of how the wisdom you have all just acquired through your studies has the power to not only strengthen your own perspective and understanding of the world, but to also strengthen one another and in turn strengthen the broader Jewish field now and in the future. In the words of constructivist educator and lifelong mentor of mine, John Dewey, education is not preparation for life. Education is life itself. And on behalf of myself and all of my colleagues at the Covenant Foundation, we hope the educational path each of you have chosen has laid an important foundation for your ongoing work as a Jewish professional. The field is stronger because of your leadership, dedication, and the commitment you have made to strengthen the Jewish people each and every day. Congratulations on your achievements, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Jody. Rabbi Danya Ruttenberg from NCJW.
Hi, I'm Danya Ruttenberg. I'm from National Council of Jewish Women. And I have three pieces of quick advice that I would love to offer my brand new amazing colleagues that I'm so excited to meet and know, those of you who I don't know yet, and learn from. Three things. Number one, find your local community. Find your people. In the Chicago area, we've had Lady Rabbi Pub Night going on we had a really good run for a while, and we're trying to get back up. But find your one. I just got muted. Hello. Find the colleagues who are in the area, meet with them regularly. Those are your people. Those are your community. Those are the people who can help you decide how much to navigate, how much to negotiate for, how to navigate tricky situations, all of it, how to scheme and dream and think bigger than you could on your own. Okay, so stay in touch with your local colleagues. That's number one. Number two, sign the Rabbis for Repro Pledge, because we need all of you in the fight for reproductive justice, right? This is a very difficult time in this country, and we have an amazing network of people showing up to do the work. Please join us. And number three, and this is the big one, there is the Torah that only you can teach. There's your Torah. Don't ever forget it. You will, I'm sorry to say, possibly encounter people who are going to want to question your intuition, who are gonna put obstacles in your way. Know your gut, trust the still small voice. Your still small voice is there. You have smicha for a reason, and you are our teacher for a reason. And we cannot receive the next generation of Torah without you. Just walk around always knowing this. Please teach your Torah. And thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Danya. We asked our graduates, what Torah do our communities need to learn now and why? And 3 of them offered to give us some answers. So I'd like to call up Rabbi Amelia Wolf from JTS, Rabbi Kat Zavis from Aleph, and Rabbi Judith Weintraub from HARCA to give us their answers. Rabbi Amelia, do you want to go first?
Sure. Yes, I'll go ahead. All right, what Torah do we all need to know right now? I went straight to what's keeping me up at night. It is our climate. It is our entire earth. And I've been searching for Torah that helps me understand what to do about that. Going to go just straight into some midrashim. We have to wonder that when God tells us to build a mishkan while we're in the wilderness from all of this incredible wood, eitz shittim, and we don't really know how to translate that. Acacia, maybe, rabbinically sometimes understood as cedar. Where did we find all of that wood in the desert? And there is some beautiful midrashim on that. Rashi brings some to Midrash Tanchuma, also drawing on Bereshit Rabbah, so you can go find it for yourselves. That Yaakov Avinu had some sort of foresight, some sort of prophecy that we would need these resources in the future. So when he went down to Egypt, he brought trees to plant with him in Egypt, knowing that later we would need wood to take with us as we leave. It teaches us that we need to constantly be looking to our future generations. What is it that they will need, and start planting and preserving those resources now. Another midrash asks why it's shittim at all. Understood now as cedar wood by the rabbis. Why should God's house be made out of cedar wood? The answer is that cedar wood does not grow fruits. We are forbidden from wantonly cutting down fruit trees, but we are permitted all sorts of use of the land if we can benefit from it. So this is, according to the rabbis, God setting an example of God, for whom all the earth belongs, says, do you know what? I am forgoing my own honor. I don't want my own sacred home being built with fruit trees, because I know that people need them and need them to live and need them to thrive. And all the more so should us, who barely can lay claim to any land ownership at all, if that, compared to God. All the more so should we be all incredibly aware of what resources there are around us and think it's not for us and for our own honor. We need to forgo, but this isn't all just for us to use however we want. Instead, every single time we take from the earth, we need to be understanding what might be better off here, remaining in the earth, so that in the long term, human beings can thrive. We have our ancestors to thank. We have Yaakov Avinu to thank for planting all of these trees so that we can build a home for God. And now we have to be those ancestors, following God's self-example, thinking, how are we going to use and preserve these resources so future generations can thrive?
Thank you so much, Rabbi Amelia. Rabbi Kat, what Torah do we need to learn now?
One of the things that excites me about Judaism is that our Torah articulates a revolutionary consciousness characterized by love of the stranger, a movement toward freedom and justice, and a critique of imperial power and thinking. We face today's social and economic struggles similar to those the prophets railed against in their time. I believe that one of our tasks as Jews is to apply the prophetic consciousness to today's reality. God's compassion and empathy, as well as God's call for physical and psycho-spiritual liberation, are mobilized in the book of Exodus. First, God hears the cries of the Hebrew slaves, and God's compassion and empathy are reawakened. Second, God speaks to Moses from the burning bush. The God Moses hears is the aspect of God that makes possible the transformation from a world of oppression and exploitation to one of love, compassion, and justice. Moses' contribution was not solely in embracing one God, but in his idol-breaking conception of what that God is like. That God illuminates the interweaving of the moral and physical order, warning us that sustained societal immorality pollutes and destabilizes not only the social, economic, and political order, but also the environmental well-being of the planet and universe. The Creator is a God of liberation that seeks human partnership to disrupt any static oppressive order. Moses was sent to Egypt not merely to free slaves or overturn a regime, as important as that was. His mission was grander than that. It was an assault on the consciousness of the empire aimed at nothing less than dismantling of its social practices and its ability to convince people that nothing can change. A society cannot be sustained without a moral and spiritual foundation that affirms love and people's desire for individual and collective liberation and revolutionary transformation. For me, the task of a Jewish spiritual leader today is to model and embody empathy and compassion, as well as the revolutionary consciousness contained in the Torah that teaches us, among other things, to equalize wealth and love the stranger, and to support and inspire others to do the same.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Kat. Rabbi Judy, what Torah do we need to learn today?
Thank you. We're going to be talking about transitions. Now, I want to thank Rabbi Dania for segueing into what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to begin with a little story. The other day, I was watching my neighbor take a walk around the block, and she was walking away from me. She's an older woman, but still a lot of vitality in her. And she had a spring in her step. And she had lost her husband of over 50 years some time ago. When I remarked to her about this, she said, Judy, I try sometimes. Sometimes I falter a little bit. And that's when I talk to my husband, Ray, thinking about what he would tell me to do. And I try. So she volunteers now at the museum. One morning a week, she teaches art to women, another morning a week. And I thought, what a beautiful example of Chochmat Lev. And so I take you now to Shmot, Exodus, chapter 35, verse 10, where it is written, V'chol chacham lev lachem yavo'u v'ya'asu et kol asher tzivah Hashem, that all of those with wisdom of the heart from you shall come and shall make all that God has called upon you to do. There's an oxymoron there, chochmat lev, wisdom of the heart. We are not talking about intellectual, mind-filled kind of wisdom, but what Rabbi Avraham Twersky, a 20th century psychiatrist and rabbi, was one of the first to equate the term wisdom of the heart with emotional intelligence, knowing what our gifts are, being self-aware, as we heard, listening to your still small voice, knowing what your gifts are and knowing others in a deeper level. That is a true wisdom of the heart, Chochmat Lev. And I believe in transitions. That's what guides us. Whether those transitions are personal or professional, whether they are very small or very large, Chochmat Lev is what will see us through. Nachmanides, the Ramban, thinks about this, that this is so important in what we need in life. And when we know this, we invite the Shekhinah to be with us, whether it's a new project or a transition. When we come from that place, that is when we invite the Shekhinah to dwell among us. My wish for all of you is that in our transitions, we have Chochmat Lev, we have the wisdom of the heart, which we have to see us through. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Judy, and I certainly felt the Chochmat Lev from all three of you. I'd like to invite Rabbi Melissa Skolton Gutierrez to come and give you a blessing from the Jewish Women's Fund of Atlanta.
I I am so honored to be able to share this bracha with you all on behalf of the Jewish Women's Fund of Atlanta, where I sit on the executive committee. For the past 11 years, the Jewish Women's Fund of Atlanta has been a force for social change, championing women's and girls' equality in the Jewish community through grant making, educational programming, and leadership development. JWFA uses the power of collective giving to fund long-term solutions to issues that impact women and girls in the Jewish community in Atlanta and around the world. With that said, my dear colleagues, it is unlikely you've made it this far in your career without learning this quintessential piece of Pirkei Avot, right, of ethics of our fathers. Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor, v'lo ata ben chorin levatel mimena. Right, it is not your duty to complete the work, but neither are you free to neglect it. And I want us to think about it again in this moment. As you begin your journey, you begin your work of repairing the world. With every woman who enters the rabbinate or cantorate, and every additional female identifying highly educated Jewish educator who is empowered to teach Torah, we begin to repair the thousands of years over which women have not been at these tables. As each of you pulls up a chair to the table, you begin to do the work. And looking around this Zoom room, you know you don't have to complete it because you are not alone in doing so. And when those tables feel like they don't have enough chairs, remember the great Shirley Chisholm who said, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. At this point, we are building bigger tables for all of these folding chairs, my friends. And we at JWFA also invite you to join us the work of social change with a gender lens. There's some of it happening innately in you being you and doing your work, but also there's so much more work to be done out there. And we are so excited to have you join alongside of us, knowing you don't need to complete the work, but you cannot ignore your responsibility to engage with it.
Thank you, Rabbi Melissa. Such an important message. Rabbi Elaine Rose Glickman from the Women's Rabbinic Network, would you please give us a blessing?
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here with all of you tonight and so honored to be representing the Women's Rabbinic Network. We support and advocate for and sustain and celebrate progressive, reform, female identified, non-binary, and genderqueer rabbis throughout North America, through Israel, and around the world. We just last month had our first in-person convention since 2019, and it was such a blessing to come together with so many women of power, of strength, and of spirit, and to acknowledge our challenges and to work towards bettering our lives, our situations, and indeed towards bettering the world, but also to celebrate how far we've come and to celebrate just the spirit and the joy and the vitality and the power and the magnificence that we as women, female identified, clergy, teachers, and leaders bring to the world. And to be here tonight in this space to welcome you, to welcome our new colleague, that in itself is a blessing. And I would just offer you as a blessing just to look not only outside at the world that so desperately needs us and our courage and our gifts and our voices and our spirit, but also to look inside ourselves. I feel like sometimes as women, we're trained to look outward too much and not inward enough, and to remember that we too were made in the image of God, that we too deserve to have grace and blessing and gifts and beauty. And just that, whether we're looking outside or looking inside, we remember that divine spark that animates each of us, that connects us to one another and connects us to all that is pure and holy and good in the world. May you find that, may you connect with it, may you help others find it. And it's just an honor to be with you tonight and to call you colleagues.
Thank you so much. It really is an honor to be with all of you tonight. And I think that when we start to think about what it means to be a woman rabbi or a cantor or Jewish educator, a spiritual leader, that we sometimes think, okay, now we don't just want to be on the same level, you know, get the same things that the men get, which is something that we of course do want. But it also leads us to think about, well, what could women's Torah look like? What are different ways or facets of women's Torah that we could bring to the world? What might that look like? And tonight we have 3 of our graduates who are going to answer that question. Rabbi Abigail Halpern from Hadar, Rabbanit Naomi Kaltman from Maharat, and Rabbi Yonina Andrea Foster from Rabbinical Seminary International. Rabbi Abigail, start us off, please.
Okay, hi, this is so exciting. Thank you all. So on the very first page of Standing Again at Sinai by Judith Plaskow, she asks the question, she says, the need for a feminist Judaism begins with hearing silence. And she very famously goes on to talk about how when the Jewish people are waiting to get the Torah, Moses tells the people, be ready for the 3rd day, do not go near a woman. To quote Plaskow, at the very moment when Israel stands trembling, waiting for God's presence to descend upon the mountain, Moses addresses the community only as men. At the central moment of Jewish history, women are invisible. And she asks, how can we ever hope to fill the silence that shrouds Jewish women's past? And I want to share with you one of my all-time favorite midrashim that I think offers a reaction to Jewish women's absence and silence in our history, in the recorded history, and suggests a path forward for finding ancestry within that absence. So, talking about the story of Benot Tzlafchad, who we actually heard about in this week's Parsha, as well as a few weeks ago, these 5 sisters who come forward and say, our father died, and while we were still in the desert, therefore by the current inheritance laws of the Torah, we won't be getting a familial portion in the land when we enter it. And Moshe goes to God, and God is like, they're totally right, and the laws of inheritance get changed to be moderately more inclusive of women. And the rabbis in Bamidbar Rabbah, I think they ask this question, which is implying, no, though not explicitly, where did these 5 women get this courage? And they say, commenting on the phrase Vatikravna Benot Tzlafchad, and the daughters of Tzlafchad approach Moses and Aaron to ask for these rights. So they say, Oto hador hayu hanashim godrot masha hanashim portzim. In that generation, i.e. the generation the Jews were in the desert, the women kind of shored up the things the men broke. And then they go on to give 3 examples, the final one being Benot Tzlafchad, but the first 2 are examples where women are absent. So first, the Midrash quotes the well-known rabbinic idea that women did not participate in the sin of the golden calf. And they prove that textually. And then the Midrash quotes the story of the spies who, upon coming back from scouting out the land, spoke ill of the land, resulted in the Jewish people needing to stay in the desert for 40 years, probably as a punishment. And the women didn't participate in that either. And both of those are places where women are absent, and the rabbis use that absence to say, actually, no, this isn't just absence, this is refusal to participate in evil. They were absent in the sense of powerful rejection of what is bad. And then the rabbis imagine that Benot Tzlafchad are the third version of that. And that's a very active refusal almost, of saying we don't want to be excluded. And I think this Midrash is offering us a vision of even Benot Tzlafchad looking back at places where women might have been absent and saying, no, we can find ancestors there. And we know in one place, the Torah, the Jewish law code, the Torah, drawing from other Midrashim, tells us that we celebrate Rosh Chodesh to commemorate all of the women who didn't participate in the sin of the golden calf. And I think that's one example of finding a place where we're looking at absence and creating ancestry from that absence. And I think that's one way to do feminist, women-oriented Torah.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Abigail. Rabbanit Naomi.
In the 16th century, the Jewish mystic Isaac Luria, better known as the Arizal, explained a concept from Kabbalah called Shvirat HaKelim, The story goes like this. At the time of the creation of the world, God created 10 vessels holding divine sparks of holiness. Due to the intense power of these divine sparks, the vessels they were in could not remain intact, and they burst open. Whoosh! A shower of divine sparks from these 10 vessels spread these divine particles throughout the world. These sparks went to every place and every country imaginable. Why did this happen? Because the holiness was too great to be contained. Looking at Jewish history, there are very few places the Jews have not tried to settle in the world. According to the Arizal, Jews in every region, far and wide, live there in order to gather these sparks of holiness and make them accessible to everyone. And when enough of these holy shards have been gathered, the broken vessels will be restored and the world will finally be considered complete again. So what does feminist Torah look like to me? It means that there are opportunities for women to study and learn Torah no matter their location. I started studying at Shivat Maharat from my home in Melbourne, Australia, just 6 months shy before a global pandemic began. My country's borders were closed for over 2 years. For months, Australians stayed home as everything was closed, and my hometown endured one of the longest lockdowns in the world. And yet, these past 4 years have been some of the best years of my life so far. Why? Because during this time, every morning, I had the opportunity to log into Zoom to study Torah with my friends around the world, and it felt like a reunification of these divine sparks during a particularly dark time in the world. Living on the other side of the world in Australia, I find comfort in the Shvirat HaKelim story, and I feel eternally grateful. Grateful to study Torah with women when local opportunities are scarce. Grateful to have friends who feel close despite living far away, and grateful to be part of a generation of women who are finding these divine sparks that have been scattered for so long, serving their communities in this holy work. For me, this is feminist Torah.
Thank you so much, Rabbanit Nomi. Rabbi Yonina Foster, what could women's Torah look like?
I would tell a story. In Toldot, generations, we learn Esau took 2 wives, Judith and Basmat. Torah says they were of rebellious spirit to Isaac and Rebekah. Yet Judith's name relates to holiness, meaning praised, let him be praised. Esau's second wife, Basmat, means sweet fragrances, pleasant smelling. To smell sweet, be precious or pure. At the age of wisdom, 40, Esau brings praises to God with sweet fragrances into his family life. Judith's and Basmat's lively spirits, their ruach, disturbed Rebekah and Jacob, Esau's twin, who through manipulation would gain Esau's birthright. Ruach, spirit, wind, breath, a name for God from the first chapter of Torah. Rather than the harlot and whore roles the rabbis assigned these women, common for the time, God's spirit of strength and sweetness shook up the family dynamic. While commentators suggest Esau hadn't cared that his Hittite Canaanite wives caused his parents anguish, we don't learn this until Jacob steals the birthright. Perhaps to appease his parents, Esau remembered Uncle Ishmael and reached out knowing Isaac and his brother Ishmael reconciled to bury their father Abraham. Perhaps Esau believed marrying Ishmael's daughter Machalat would mend the generational family rift and help him be accepted. We conclude Toldot with Abraham's descendants, Machalats, as Esau's third wife. Machalat means dance and sad song. Perhaps she prophesied the failure of her husband's dream of reconciliation. Machalat's name also means piercing, creating an opening in something closed off to illuminate and ventilate space. Machalat enabled Esau to see a new way forward for the breadth of his days and helped shine a light on the woundedness of his family. Isaac dies and is buried by his sons. Esau marries Adah and Aholibamath. Maybe some say his first wives were renamed. Adah, adornment, ornament, to pass over, to strip away as in a garment. Perhaps in grief and mourning, Esau saw more of his family's truth. He had been passed over, yet beauty in his life stood side by side with great wealth from the earth. Adah represented the collective of his life, the good place he had built for himself. Aholibama, tent of the high place, the center of a place to share thoughts, culture, language. Ohel, a tent of meeting, a home, settlement, habitation. The root of Aholibamath's name, Ohel, tabernacle, also the name of a chieftain, maybe Aholibamath, a priestess. From the earthen sword, Esau lived, filled his belly and that of his family. From praising on high Judith to sweet-smelling Basamat, praises lifted heavenward. Their ruach, spirits, shook things up, but didn't end the falsehoods of Rebecca and Jacob. Machalat, dancing her sad song, didn't reach Isaac as Terach did Jacob. In Ada and Holy Bamoth, the collective place, the tent of meeting was established, the place to sing praises to God and lift spirits on high. In the end, their possessions too great for the brothers to dwell together. Esau took his wives, sons, daughters, and all the souls of his household, his livestock, and all his animal and property, away from Canaan back to Mount Seir, a gateway to enlightenment.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Yonina, Rabbi Abigail, and Rabbi Naomi. I think more people want to give you brachot. We'll now move to Dr. Sarah Shapiro-Plevin from the Gender Equity and Hiring Project. She couldn't be here in person tonight, but she sent a video.
Who do we expect our leaders to be? We expect our leaders to be fearless, filled with energy, and always at the ready with something to teach us that will enrich or change our lives. We expect our leaders to be amazing parents, friends, generous and loyal, and good and kind. We expect they'll be selfless and visionary. We expect our leaders to be audacious and wise and compassionate, to be outspoken, to be fully present always, and to change the world. But who are the leaders we actually need? You. It's you who are the leaders we need. We need you to make mistakes and to tell us what you've learned. We need your wonder, your curiosity. We need your willingness to say that it isn't the way it always has to be. We need you to say it's okay to change slowly and that change is hard. We need you to be stubborn and dogmatic sometimes and to do so for the sake of justice and truth. We need you to put relationships first, to say that people matter and to show us how we matter to you. We need you to shine a light on what goes on in dark places, to tell the stories of people whose stories do not ever get told and to amplify the voices of those who go unheard. In this transition, as you are fully accepting the mantle of your leadership in whatever way you imagine, we bless you with the gift of always being yourself and showing up as the beautiful, unique people you are. You are the gift of perfect imperfection that we need in our leaders. In your truth, your honesty, and even sometimes the messiness, the unsure, the uneven that we all are. We do not need you to be a leader who sits alone in an office, whose example we cannot possibly follow. We need the blessing of you to be the leaders whose example encourages us and invites us in, and who builds a community and relationships in your leadership, and who simply by being invites us to imagine being leaders too. The Gender Equity and Hiring Project and I, Sarah Shapiro-Plevin, wish you a mazal tov on this occasion, and I celebrate our new graduates as examples for us all. You are the leaders we need.
Wow, thank you, Sarah. I now want to call on Rabbi Liz Hirsch from Women of Reform Judaism to give you a blessing.
Good evening, everyone. Mazel tov. I'm Rabbi Liz Hirsch. I use she, her pronouns. I am the brand new executive director of Women of Reform Judaism. We've been on the scene since 1913, and we are the women's empowerment affiliate of the Union for Reform Judaism. This is our blessing for all of you. We say bruchot habaot, welcome. Blessed are all of you who come to bless all of us. Bruchot habaot,
of Shekhinah, be blessed, be blessed with me. May you know of Shekhinah, be blessed, Lord, be blessed with peace. Luchot habarot, tachat kanfei HaShekhinah, Bruchim habayim, tachat kanfei HaShekhinah.
How wonderful. Thank you so much, Rabbi Hirsch. It's customary when you finish learning a tractate of Talmud to recite a hadran. Hadran can mean we will return to you, or it could also come from the root of hadar, beauty. What a beautiful gift we have in the Torah, and what a beautiful gift we have in our teachers of Torah. I'd like to invite Rabbi Lily Goldstein from HUC, Rabbi Mayeb from RRC, Rabbi Shani Michelson from Ziegler, and Rabbi Wendy Love Anderson from HAR to recite a modified Hadran in English.
Hadran Alach, may we return to you, our community of sisters and champions, a Hadrach Elan, may you return to us. May it be your will, our God and the God of our parents, that we should be loyal to your Torah in this world, and it should be with us in the next world. Please make it sweet, God our God, the words of your Torah in our mouths and in the mouths of your nation, the house of Israel.
And it should be that we, all of us, our children and the children of your nation, the house of Israel, that we should all know your name and learn your Torah. Your commandment makes me wiser than my enemies, for it is ever with me. Let my heart be complete in your statutes, in order that I may not be put to shame. I will never forget your precepts, for with them you have quickened me. Blessed are you, O God. Teach me your statutes. Those are all from Psalms.
May it be your will, Lord my God, just as you have helped us to complete our studies, so too may you help me to start other tractates and books and to complete them, to learn and to teach, to observe and to enact and to fulfill all the words of the teaching of your Torah with love. And may the merit of all of the Tanaim and Amoraim and Torah scholars be present for us and for our descendants, to ensure that the Torah does not depart from our mouths and from the mouths of our communities and students for all eternity.
And may the following be fulfilled for us. When you walk, it will lead you. When you lie down, it will watch over you. When you awake, it will speak with you. For through me, your days will be multiplied, and the years of your life will be increased. Length of days is in her right hand, in her left, riches and honor. God will give strength to God's nation. God will bless our nation with peace.
Amen. Thank you all so much. I knew that this was going to be an amazing night, but I didn't realize how powerful it was going to be. Seeing the graduates, seeing everybody who is encouraging and championing our graduates, seeing what it means to have so many women supporting one another in the same room is just amazing. And I hope that we will continue to experience the same kind of support for one another. Just imagine what we can do when we all work together. And I want to invite you to next year's celebration of next year's graduates, May 21st, 2024. Please be there. We've had some women come and give brachot, but now I'd like to invite everybody who wants to give a bracha to our graduates to put one in the chat so that our graduates can see all the blessings that you have for them. And now I'd like to invite Cantors, Rabbi Cantor Elizabeth Batsara from HARCA and Cantor Marilyn Selby-Okoshi from JTS to lead us in Tfilat HaDerech.
I was trying to turn off my air conditioner so it didn't distort the noise. Are we on? Yes?
Go for it.
So this is Tfilat HaDerech, and Debbie Friedman died in my third year in cantorial school. And our first minyan after the cantor leading said, "This is Debbie's prayer for all of us." And I can never hear it or sing it without feeling our mothers, our foremothers holding us. May we be blessed as we go on our way. May we be guided in peace. May we be blessed with health and joy. May this be our blessing. Amen. Oh, this be our blessing. Amen. This be our blessing. Amen.
May we be sheltered by the wings of peace. May we be kept in safety and in love. May grace and compassion find their way to every soul. May this be our blessing. Amen. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth and Marilyn, for those beautiful, beautiful Tfilat HaDerech. And now I'm going to ask Ariella Mortkowitz to close us off.
I am on such a high, I don't even know what to say. This is like, I just want to thank you, everybody who is walking in and taking steps into being spiritual leaders and soul holders. Thank you for making that choice and for adding your beautiful voices to help the rest of us find be the ladder that we all need, that our souls need to be connected on high. Thank you for that glorious choice that you made. And thank you to everybody who is here, who is supporting and seeking and just surrounding these amazing leaders as they embark into this new role in their lives and in their leadership. And I am just overwhelmed and joyous to be joined by our fantastic co-hosts who, when we approached them, said, "You're throwing a party to celebrate women leaders?" Heck yes. So thank you, thank you, thank you to the Covenant Foundation, the Aviv Foundation, Jewish Women's Archive, NCJW, JWI, Women of Reformed Judaism, Illuminate, Jewish Women's Fund of Atlanta, Hadassah Foundation, the Women's Rabbinic Network, and the Gender Equity and Hiring Project. This was an amazing first. All I want to do is do this every year and all the time. I'm going to also give an enormous shout out to Sarah Ellen, who is not here, but who generously, just at the last minute, sponsored tonight as a rabbi's daughter, because she knows exactly what it means to live a life of clergy. And she wanted to support this and you. I'm going to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Let this not be the last time that SVIVAH sees you, learns your Torah, learns Torah with you and from you. I'm going to make a gentle ask. Please consider help us continue do this work with a gift of any size. We would be so grateful. I'm also going to make sure that we put in the chat the link that has all of our amazing graduates so that you can find them, learn from them, and keep learning from them and seek them out, celebrate them, and lift them up in whatever way you can. I'm going to also, hopefully we have a quick survey so that you can add your input about how we can do this better next year and other ways that we can come together celebrating and supporting women. And we have our SVIVAH Facebook group, which is always a place to continue these beautiful conversations. And I would love to encourage all of the clergy here, please, if you have sermons, Divrei Torah, anything that you want to share with us, please plunk it there and lift us up. That would be amazing. And we'd love to see you again. Come back, svivah.org. You can find all of the fun things that we have planned. We just love to be together. This was amazing. And Rabbanit Aliza, this was your idea and it was glorious. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you 1,000 times over. I can't wait to see you all in May of next year, but hopefully sooner than that. I'm going to stick around, and if anybody wants to say hi, take themselves off mute, say hello, all hear each other's voices, all of those things, please do. It's so good to see all of you. And thank you to Emily and to Liz. You guys are superheroes. Thank you for making tonight so beautiful in all of the ways.
Ariella, Aliza, I want to thank you. This is an amazingly beautiful and cool and awesome organization and endeavor. You followed your Chochmat Lev, didn't you? And Aliza, wow. This is beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Judy. Thank you.
I want to just also share with everybody who is here, we had the privilege of hanging out with these amazing new leaders for an hour before we showed up to this room, for an opportunity for them to come together with each other. And I know what joy my colleagues bring to me and how much help they offer me, especially as like a solo person doing some of this work that can often be lonely and overwhelming. And so the idea of seeing you all together to know each other and know each other's work and learn each other's Torah is just something that's so beautiful and so different from so many other spaces of Judaism that I grew up in. Aliza, thank you for the gift of bringing us all together, truly.
I just hope that we continue to stay in touch. Like now that we know each other, we have to dream great dreams and build great things together.
Amen.
It's so lovely to see like so many female leaders like rising up like across the denominations. It's such a treat because denominational Judaism in the 21st century means that we so often live in silos, and we don't get the chance to see one another's faces in this way. And so it's just beautiful to get to see and celebrate with one another across the spectrum in this way. And I see that Sarah says that at the same time. Sarah, I must have been channeling you. I don't know if you said that at the same time as I said that, but I did not see you say that because I was like looking at faces as I said that.
This might be very incorrect to say, but you know, men are the ones who made the denominational lines. We don't have to play by those rules.
No way.
So true. Thank you.
Beautiful.
I just want to be in rooms where we just give each other blessings all day. Can we do that? I mean, I'll open up this Zoom room for anybody who wants to do that any day of the week.
That's a nice antidote.
Really nice.
Okay, I put the link in the chat again. I hope everybody finds all of the Torah that is out there. And I'm serious, I'm going to beg all of you, if you write it, if you read it, if you say it out loud, don't let it just die on your pulpit. Come and share it with SVIVAH too, please. You all work so hard and put your Torah together. Help it bring it out into the world. We want to read it and learn it.
Please. Oh man, this is so beautiful. All right.